Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This reports for the 6th of October. Modest end of the week with the options falling out. We hit a new high, faded a little bit underneath it, still equivalent to where the previous high range was. So filled that right in. We got the MBI white that's starting to become more prominent. So as we talked about before, that you would see a little bit of a rising and shorts going into that rise. And then you'd end up with your break point. Coincidentally, right about where new fund money is about to take place here coming at the start of the week. So we'll see how that plays out in it. You can see that we have the shakeout here, Azure and gold lines meeting. When that typically happens, you end up with a couple of days before you get some kind of a pullback into it. So we'll see if that's able to break out into a new range, or if it continues to fade off. We're still well below the shakeout level from the previous highs. So, that's problematic from a congruency standpoint. So you look for that divergence as it builds. The NASDAQ was far weaker within the setup. The budget situation is still ongoing. Nobody's seeing that really as a crisis. Revenue still rolling in from tariff, everything else. And amazing how you still don't hear about that one and the inflation that's going to be, and whatever happened to that story that just was like dominating every other day and it's disappeared for the last month plus. Potential peace breaking out in the Middle East in certain parts, maybe. The war in Ukraine, no change there. The war footing for the European nations, they're still trying to push for it. So um, it's more of the same. And the market's not reacted to it. Treasury's not moving at all because they just have no interest in doing anything oil. The Saudis moving forward with decrease or increase in their production to try and maintain market share in that, putting pressure on U.S. suppliers. So that's getting into a range where, in the mid 50s, low 50 range. Wow, you could have a real spurt of growth from that because lower energy costs cause people to be willing to take risks on things. And that's where it is. The euro flatlining at this particular stage because, again, everyone still thinks that the U.S. economy is going to collapse, and gold is a representation there partially of that, but I think that most of it has been the change in capital requirements and the fact that central governments around the world are all plying into the precious metal as well as even in crypto, because it's the only thing that it's not being hammered by the devaluation of currencies with the amount of debt that's being carried by just about every nation there is. So when you talk about it in relative terms, the U.S., while bad, is not as bad as plenty of others. And who do you think is going to cave first? The others. You can see it from a Bitcoin standpoint, also rallying, catching back up to where it was with the gold's move in that, and ETH slightly behind it. Again, the back and forth from crypto. Got a 50K issue there. I'll have to figure that one out, see what we can do on that. But from a 5-minute chart there, you can see the buildup and then end of day pretty much just collapsed all the way through, and we'll see what it's like going into the open going forward. But again, we're just really going to be stuck with this kind of malaise until we get some clarity as to whether there's significant weakness in the job market universally that's going to force the Fed to do something. Everyone still thinks they will do something. But as it is, things are chugging along until a budget is resolved, and whether or not additional cuts get made in between that time is an interesting one, and whether or not a pullback in federal spending would still allow enough growth to take place that you wouldn't see a collapse. The way they do the GDP numbers and that with government spending and things is weird, but what are you going to do? You just take what it is and go from there. That's the long and the short of it for now. And as always, anything relevant, I will definitely put it on our team chat. Have a good one. Trade well.